have another big responsibility, which is the Ministry of Coal. And in your first stint, with the first couple of years, you started off with a very big bang. Coal production jumped up. Later on, there has been a fair bit of disappointing news on the coal front. And I'm sure a lot of people here in India Inc. would love to know as to what is it that you're doing to speed up coal production so that the power plants have more stocks.
Just to set the context right, the two big figures that are often talked about, even this year, current year, India is importing less coal than we imported in our first year in office, which was a legacy of the past. So in 14-15, India imported about 210 million tons of coal. This year, we will not exceed 210 million tons. So that's area one.
Right.
Area two, coking coal, we don't have enough in India. We import about 50 million tons of coking coal. We have some coking coal reserves in Raniganj and Jharia, which are under fire for the last 40, 50, some say 100 years.
Right.
So there we have a problem where we'll need to necessarily import. We also have a large number of power plants. ILFS has a power plant in Tamil Nadu.
Right.
It's been designed for imported coal. Even if I give him coal from Coal India, he cannot use it over there. That's the weakness of the previous government, that they insisted that you design your power plant on imported coal, then we'll allow you environmental permission to set it up.
Right.
They never imagined the country could have 10% growth of coal production, which we have this year, for example, in the first half.
Right.
Currently, as we speak, we had about 9.5% growth in coal production as of today, as of yesterday, in coal production. This has never happened before.
Right.
As regards the shortage, there were a series of events which came in between. We had a situation where on 1st April 2017, the stock at the coal pits, at the pit head, was about 67 million tons. My officers refused to produce anymore. They said, we can't stock it. There'll be fires all over.
Right.
The power plants were not lifting coal because they thought whenever we want it, we'll get it. And then in the monsoon, there was this stress of power. The requirements shot up. Coal production cannot keep pace in the monsoon. The stocks dwindled. And then we've had a legacy for the last 16, 18 months, which has been a little stretch since July of 17 till now. But I think the things are turning. Currently, stocks are again on the upswing.
Right.
Imports also in between looked a little stretched because the Adani, Tatas and SR plants were almost shut down because of the Supreme Court verdict.
Right.
Because of which those plants were not importing coal. And therefore, companies in the interiors of India had to import coal. So there were very specific issues. Right. But I'm glad that things are sorting themselves out.
So the situation is going to improve, you're saying?
I don't see any problem in that.
You don't see any
problem?
problem?
As I said, we will be importing less coal than we did 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. And the quality of Indian coal today has never been so good, which any of the power producers, and I see many of them sitting in this room, can confirm.
Right. We are rapidly running out of time, so I'll just have time to ask you one more last question. And this is relating to what your cabinet colleague, Transport Minister Mr. Nitin Gadkari said about banks not funding infrastructure and road projects. And of course, the February 12th circular by RBI. I know you have strong views on this. You were a power minister as well.
So I think it's best I keep my mouth zipped. All my friends here, probably half of them know my views about it. Right. But let me not give you some headlines for your next day's edition.
But do you think the power situation, the coal situation and the power situation will sort itself out? Now you have the stressed power.
Well, this government will certainly solve all this situation out. We won't allow any of the situation to go out of control. The government stands committed to that.
Right. And you will go ahead with it even irrespective of what RBI does or not?
I didn't say that. But the government will ensure, come what may, what it takes, we will ensure that none of our industries, none of our people who are creating infrastructure, none of the people who have invested in India will get a raw deal.
Right. One more question, Mr. Goyal, and this is relating not to coal or to power or to railways, but this is relating to the political situation in India right now. You have important assembly elections coming up and then the general election next year. And the feeling, the perception at least, whether it's correct or not, I'm not going to say, but the feeling, the perception is that the government is on the back foot. What is your reading of the situation?
I can give you one data point, which is readily available with me. In 2013, in August, September, had carried out a nationwide survey, not as the BJP, but through an independent third party used to do it for media houses. At that time, this was the world's largest physical survey, 230,000 respondents,
Right.
and in which I had predicted in September, October or November of 2013 that we will get an absolute majority, the BJP by itself.
The BJP by itself.
This time around, my surveys started again the same time, August, September. We have expanded the scope of the survey across the length and breadth of the country. We did 540,000 respondents.
Right.
I think it's unheard of anywhere in the world that 540,000 people selected randomly through the computer have been asked over a 30-minute physical interview on tablet,
Right.
and reported straight into the system,
Right.
to ensure its sanctity. What they believe about the government and various questions, inflation, economy, the situation about their business, situation about the political scene, who they will vote for. I'm happy to at least share the headline number that came out.
Right.
The BJP looks to be between 297 and 303 seats by itself in the 2019.
297 to 303. That's very, very precise.
297 to 303 by ourselves, the BJP will get in the 2019 Lok Sabha.
2019 Lok Sabha elections, you're saying 297 to 303. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's for you, the coal and the railways minister and the BJP leader making this prediction. Probably there are some clues in this about what may happen in the Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh elections, but that I leave for you to decide and discuss. Thank you, Mr. Goyal. It's been a great pleasure speaking to you. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Sriram. I would like to request Mr. Goyal to present the award for the Global Indian of the Year, ladies and gentlemen. Now, we have all opened PDF files on our mobiles, and so we all have to thank the man who runs the company that makes the software to do that. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Shantanu Narayan, CEO, Adobe Systems.
From what I gather, I think keeping my speech succinct is also another prerequisite to actually finally walking away with that award. Thank you, Honorable Minister Goyal. Thank you, members of the jury, and to the Economic Times for this incredible honor. Growing up in Hyderabad, my goal actually was to be a journalist. And one of the early highlights in my career was actually when I was selected by the Economic Times to be the editor for a day. The paper that I edited and a picture of the all-nighter, something that I actually never did in school, still hangs in my study at home. The Economic Times clearly plays such an important role in being a global brand ambassador, as well as an advocate for Adobe Inc., and your contributions to the economic vibrancy of India is truly appreciated. As a global Indian, global was a term growing up that really embodied to me both ambition and aspiration. And I'm really proud to be part of a company, Adobe, that embodies both of that. Through products like Photoshop and PDF, we have changed the world of communication. And it's a matter of intense pride that everywhere you look, every piece of content, mobile applications, websites, newspapers, magazines,